We're dealing with the practice of a minister that leads to the growth of God's church, right? That's what we're dealing with. And I'm going to be very systematic and a bit technical this morning, because we're dealing now with each practical, what you are going to stand from this meeting to go and do. Is that all right? We are not just going to be talking about, I'm not just exhorting you. We spent the whole of yesterday doing that. But this morning, we want to start dealing with what must you go from here. Practical action that will lead to the growth of God's church under your hand. Biblical practice that will enhance the growth of God's church under your hand. That's what we're looking for. Now, the first point, which is very, very basic and critical, is you. You are the first key to the growth of the church. You, the clergy, the man of God, the pastor, the preacher, is the first key to the growth of the church. The church either grows at your instance, or the church dies at your instance. Growth in the church will be affected very, very greatly by you, and it could be, their growth could be hindered very, very greatly by you. So the first key issue is you, and let's deal with that very quickly. We have been dealing with it over and over and over and over. Everybody that have been speaking has been speaking about you, about you, about you, about you, and I just want to note that as the first issue. Then I'll go over it. Then I'll go and continue my business. Is that all right? Now, I therefore, a prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that you do what? Walk worthy of your vocation. The first issue is that you must walk worthy. You must walk in such a way that the confidence that God has reposed on you by putting you in the ministry is not disappointed. Don't disappoint the trusts that God has placed upon you to bring you into the ministry. You know why? Do you know why? Every misbehavior in the life of a preacher has a multiplier effect on the people that hear him. Every time anything goes wrong in the life of the man of God, it has an exaggerated effect on everybody that he is ministering to. Whether you hide it or you don't hide it, the fact is that what goes on in your inner life has a direct bearing on what comes out through your mouth. So the first critical issue about growth is your growth. Oh my God, am I making sense? Your growth actually is a critical ingredient for church growth. When the man of God stops growing, he cannot grow the church. It is not possible for you to grow people when you yourself are not growing.